At the height of the gold rush, Rick Ness was one of the most successful miners. He lost his mind when a rookie mechanic fixed his $1 million excavator. A little boy did fix his $1 million machine. We will look at the details and ups and downs of Rick Ness's mining operations in this video. We will see how the seasons changed, how technology broke down, and how driven Ness was to find rare gold. Come with us as we look at the exciting shows, with a focus on how Rick Ness's never-ending search for wealth in the hard desert changes, succeeds, and fails. In his never-ending search for money, Rick finds himself traveling into uncharted territory because he thinks he has found his most important goal yet. His huge machine for moving dirt is gone, and his team is getting smaller. The odds are against him. When Rick realizes how serious the situation is and posts that a skilled mechanic is needed right away, it's a turning point. Now, a 20-year-old student becomes an important figure because he is asked to show off his skills by building the complex, multi-million-dollar 750 backhoe. The apprentice carefully attaches the bucket and 750 book stick, showing how complicated the job is. They were moved safely by a movable base set to a small gauge. The thought of having to deal with Duncan Creek's various terrain adds another level of difficulty. Torsten, the apprentice, changes the tracks expertly by slowly loosening the bolts that hold the chassis in place. He cleverly positions the digger with the help of the boom, showing how creative the team is when things go wrong. The 750's bucket is particularly impressive because it is so big. It's 3 times bigger than the 480's. Time is important for Rick and his team because they work in less than a half week. Their staff is only 4 people, and they don't have a fixed driver. Rick's earlier success, in which he made an average of just over 70 ounces of gold per week, is very different from this situation. The problems that are coming up show how strong, flexible, and determined the team is as they keep going after their huge gold goal. The group is aware that Carl, the gold miner, is not there and stresses how important he is to fixing machine problems. They both hope Carl gets better and are worried about taking care of the equipment's upkeep without a trained tech. Most people agree that Torsten's ability to put together the 750 digger was a turning point that made the mining business a lot better. At this time of year, it's hard for Rick to find a plumber, so he's thankful that Torsten helped him right away. As the team gathers for the weekly gold weigh, Rick talks about the effects of having a smaller staff and the need for a worker to fix problems with the pumps. Even with all of these problems, the crew stays friends, and they raise a glass to the amazing gold crop that only 4 crew members, including the new Torsten, were able to handle. The story shows how flexible, determined, and flexible the crew was in getting past problems so they could reach their gold mining goals. The team is still dealing with the problems of the season. They are looking ahead with a mix of determination and confidence as the successful end of the gold weight has given them hope. And yet, none of these problems affect Rick in any way. In fact, they might even be a good thing. We can see that Brennan has a hard time because he can't find any good land. He doesn't care and takes a wild guess as to where a new cut should be made. Almost magically, the chosen area is cleaned up and fully open in a matter of seconds. When people find possible gold in a test pan, they decide to call the new site the Bacon Strip. During the gold rush, there is a tense moment when the parking brake on a rock truck gets caught on a pile of pay dirt. Even though the rescue is shown with dramatic music and quick cuts, the story makes fun of the fact that, to everyone's surprise, no one dies. The episode ends with a smooth cleanup that yields a respectable 75.92 ounces of gold. But things change in the gold rush game when Rick's team goes through a number of staff changes. Riley is the rock truck driver he gets right away after losing the first one. A slightly inflated story about a rock truck losing a tire shows how the crew reacted to what turned out to be a pretty small problem. The following day takes a surprising turn when Riley, the new driver, suddenly disappears. The crowd gets to see Rick's girlfriend learn how to drive a rock truck after she offers to take over. As a joke, the announcer calls this part of the show the perfect blend of boredom and boredom. Rick finds another 47 ounces of gold just as cleanup time is about to start. This brings his season total to 502 ounces. When Riley comes back the next day, he has a huge scar across his face. And the story continues. He gives an account that includes a fight, a trip to the hospital, and having his phone taken away by the police. Even though things didn't go as planned, Rick is glad to have Riley back with the team. The crew's original happiness and excitement quickly faded when they realized there was a major problem. There was a sudden wave of fear among the team, because that's when they found out there was a crack between the plant and the pre-wash that opened up without warning and let water out, which is very bad for the mining operation. Figuring out why there is warning is easy once the two 9-inch steel pins that were joining them are found to be missing. But even though this is a worrying development, no one seems to care. The crew makes 2 new pins to fix the problem. As the team tries to get past the hurdles, more problems come up because rocks can pass through the holes in the screen deck. In an effort to save the situation, they glue steel plates over the holes. It's too bad that the cleanup only turns up 40.64 ounces of gold. At this point, everyone is upset about how limited their current wash plant is. Strangely, there was no reason for why Rick wasn't using Monster Red, the wash plant he had worked hard to fix up over the off-season. The mining team has to make some tough choices that are getting more and more interesting as time goes on. Now, though, Rick seems to have forgotten how much work he put into Monster Red over the winter when Freddie and Juan show up to fix his wash plant. It takes 4 days, but they quickly put in the new punch plates Rick bought, even though they are a bit too thin. Surprisingly, Freddie and Juan are able to solve the problem without any problems at all with a little help from Chris. As Freddie and Juan work on the repair, the story moves smoothly and shows off their skill and knowledge. The lack of excitement in this method is very different from the problems that happen in the gold mine business. After 1 day of work, everything is fixed without any major issues. The team cleans up the campfire and finds 17.27 ounces of gold. When Rick wakes up the next morning, his bacon strip shows that there is no pay dirt. It's brave of him to decide to go back to the deep cut even though no gold was found there last year. He has a strong feeling that all the gold in the cut might be concentrated under his access road, and that feeling is very important. As they look into the deep dig, they quickly find 2 rocks, which is seen as a good sign that there is a lot of gold there. Then something strange happens. The cut is supposed to start filling with groundwater, even though everything else is dry, until Rick breaks a berm on purpose and floods the area. Additionally, they make things more difficult by using a pump to remove water from the dry area to smooth things out. Even though the digging process was hard, 126.86 ounces of gold were found after everything was cleaned up. Good luck, Rick. Your season total now stands at 687.68 ounces, showing that you have the toughness and adaptability needed to work in the volatile world of gold mine. But things get interesting when Rick puts Brennan on the Rally Valley night shift. During the first night shift, a rock truck breaks down, but it is fixed well. Brennan has to peel the next night, which is called Glacier Till. Foreman Brennan is promoted by Rick the next day after a short break in the story. People are left thinking about the possible interesting things that were said but not done during Brennan's night shift and promotion, since the recap jokes about leaving out the more interesting parts. The story is now following Rick as he digs deeper into Rally Valley. Something strange happens when he hits a bed of rocks and blocks 30 feet earlier than planned. But when you look at things in a bigger picture, it might not have been as shocking as people made it out to be. People believe that these rocks are good signs of good gold, which is made clear in the story. It's good that Rick finds 25 to 30 gold nuggets when he tries pans of the material. Rick sees what could happen and chooses to try his smaller wash plant in a bigger way. He needs to build a new road and a bridge across the valley so that everyone can get there. 14.02 ounces of gold are made in the 1,000-yard test. Because of these discoveries, Rick feels a sense of urgency and panic throughout the show. The reason is that Monster Red, the main wash plant, isn't ready to handle new ground. Rick has a tough choice to make. He doesn't want to throw away the valuable pay dirt, but he needs to run it through his wash plant right away. So far as we can tell, Rick's changes to his plans have made a huge difference for the whole Gold Rush crew. At first, Rick didn't want to set up Monster Red when he got to the last pay stage in Rally Valley. But at the beginning of the show, he has to face the hard truth that he needs to set up Monster Red in order to get to the top pay level. This decision sets the stage for the challenges and wins that will follow. In the episode, Rick is seen handling Monster Red. At first, there are only a few happy shouts and not much else happens. When a brand new hopper feeder appears out of nowhere, the story takes a turn that no one saw coming. It was said that Rick had spent all of his leftover money on updating Monster Red and buying a new dozer over the winter, so this is even stranger. Some people think that he may have bought the hopper feeder with money from Fred's supposedly endless savings. Rick is able to run Monster Red for 2 days and get 43.53 ounces of gold, even though it had some problems at first. When the rocks roll back down Rick's conveyor belt, they make things tricky. To fix the problem, he calls the company that made the hopper feeder, and they add a finger trap to keep the rocks from going back down the line. When Rick makes this change, the program goes on to the cleanup stage, where he finds an amazing find, 181.17 ounces of gold. At this point, though, it looks like Rick is having a rough season and needs help. People in the crowd were shocked when Rick's father, not the man who drove the truck, was called in. The episode looks like it was cut together badly, with sudden changes in the weather and seasons. At first, Rick's dad can be seen going outside in the snow and then getting on a rock truck. But the snow goes away quickly. The description is funny because of the uneven editing. Soon after, the 700 digger breaks down, and trying to rewild the hydraulic tubes makes the situation worse. Later attempts to empty the lines don't work and make things worse. Even though it's hard, Rick finds an amazing 122.21 ounces of gold. When Rick spends a lot of time in Rally Valley in late fall, more things happened. He is suddenly called away from his work to let him know that the claim owner is there. When late fall turns into early winter, things take a turn that no one saw coming. The owner of the claim says she wants to sell it to Rick, but she won't say how much. For some reason, Rick is given an extra chance. He has 2 years to make the 150-ounce down payment if he can. After that, there are heated conversations, looks, and thoughts that make Rick come up with what seems like an odd plan. The first exciting part of Rick's plan is to go back in time to late summer. Running Monster Red and Rocky at the same time is a brave move. The storyteller builds a sense of mystery and tension by picking up on people's confusion about the strange editing choices. As the story goes on, an accident happens when a rock truck tips over while backing up to dump on a pay pile. The part that's unclear is when it turns out that the truck was empty the whole time, but fully filled when it tipped over. This makes the story even less clear. It's time to clean up in the middle of all the strange things that are going on. Rocky gets 95.4 ounces, but Monster Red gets 219.8 ounces, which is even more. But when people are celebrating a win, winter comes back quickly. Rick is not bothered by the passing of time. He decides to take advantage of the situation and buy the claim from its owner, promising to pay the 150 ounces that they had agreed upon. All of these show how unstable gold mining can be by showing both losses and wins. At the end, Rick makes a big decision that will affect the future of his business in Rally Valley. Even though it had snowed earlier in the season, Rick thought the big snowfall in the middle of winter was the first big snowfall of the year. Rockies will be closed for the year because of the snow, says Rick. This choice makes someone suddenly sneeze, which draws attention to the problems and irritations the mining operation is having. The fact that the pay in Rally Valley is so wet shows that they have hit the water table. To fix this, Rick adds a pump. Cutting that goes very quickly and exciting scenes. People say that the lack of progress the next morning is because the pump is too small, but it looks like there may be more issues. Rick decides out of the blue to take another pump without permission, which leads to a dry cut the next day. The story is mostly about the drama of the pump problem, but the water table's uneven effects make you wonder about some things. Since Rick has to pay $40,000 for the pump, it becomes more likely that Fred, who seems to have endless resources, could help with money. Even though there are problems and disagreements, the cleanup goes well, and 206.09 ounces of gold are found. These different kinds of problems and good outcomes show how unpredictable gold digging can be in the winter. As soon as winter comes early on Rick's claim, he might call all of his miners together for an encouraging speech and tell them to work harder. This is a common theme during the mining season. Rick sets up 2 machines to feed the 400-yard-per-hour wash facility so that he can get the most work done. One loader had electrical problems while it was working. These problems can be quickly fixed by cleaning the links between the batteries. Suddenly, a lot of the cut gives way, which makes the person angry and makes them swear and rub their face. Drone footage shows that the group quickly runs away because they are afraid for their lives and their gear. As the last step in the cleanup process is completed, an amazing 393 ounces are found. For the season, Rick has now weighed 2,047 ounces of gold. When you look more closely at the final gold weigh-ins, you can see that he found 19% of his gold in the last 4 weeks of the season. This is an amazing feat of gold mining. Overall, it was a great search, but do you remember when Rick's girlfriend showed up and saved the day? Lise, Rick's girlfriend, helps out a team member who is hurt. Rick's co-worker got lost in the mine madness of the bacon strip, but Elise's surprise truck skills turned things around. Rick now has 502 ounces of gold for the season, which was worth over $900,000. The crew won with 47 ounces of gold. To get to lower, nugget-rich ground, Rick Ness sped through the bacon strip at Duncan Creek. Riley, his new partner, wasn't at work, and he couldn't get in touch with him or tell him when he would be back. This made him angry. It made Rick feel bad, especially after a hard year. With only 2 rock trucks, Rocky could not work at full speed. Elise, Rick's girlfriend, offered to drive trucks to help. Rick gave it some thought, but in the end chose to let her learn with crews. Elise amazed everyone by being able to handle the basics and even learn more harder lessons, even though she had never been digging before. Rocky was back with 3 trucks, and Elise was driving one of them to help them move forward. Once again, Rick was pleased to see that the crew had reached 47 ounces of gold, which is more than $145,000. Rick has now caught 502 ounces this season, which is worth more than $900,000. This is a big accomplishment for the small group. The show ended with a funny moment where the crew made fun of Elise for something she did on the rock truck that no one saw coming. The Ness team has their best mining week yet, making almost $300,000. When Monster Red lost efficiency because of a problem with the pipeline, Rick Ness was put in a tough spot. And surprising 181 ounces of gold were found in just 70 hours, thanks to a quick fix for a finger trap and quick thought. Rick is now hoping that he will reach the rare 2,000-ounce mark. There was a lot of competition for Rick Ness to win the 2,000-ounce prize, which was the biggest award of the season. But because of problems with the seat conveyor, Monster Red dropped from moving 300 yards of dirt per hour to moving only 200 yards of dirt per hour. Its once efficient operation came to a sudden stop. Rick was afraid that he might lose gold, so he called a company right away and prayed that they could fix it quickly. There was still a lot of yardage left in the season, so Rick knew how important it was to fix this right away. During a very important meeting, Rick told Proctor Barry and Scott Ezekiel about the problem of rocks going back down the conveyor belt more slowly. It was suggested that a finger trap, which is a frame with 8 metal fingers, be built to catch rocks and let pay dirt flow through. Rick agreed to the idea and emphasized how important it was, even though building was supposed to stop. As smart as ever, Barry and Scott looked through the boneyard for extra parts that they could use to make Rick's finger trap. This smart fix took several hours to finish, and Monster Red was now ready for a test run. The team was nervously waiting for the results and thought how much gold they would really find in Rally Valley. The group found an amazing 181 ounces of gold in just 70 hours, which was more than they thought they would find. Because of how well it turned out, Rick said it was one of their biggest gold finds. He told the team thank you and said he was excited to mine at Monster Red's fast pace to keep the momentum going toward the elusive 2,000-ounce.
In Alaska, Parker Schnabel discovers what may be the richest gold mine. On the next episode of Gold Rush, he claims to have made the most crazy treasure ever. Will this be his greatest win or risk? Stop wasting time and start. Parker Schnabel is overworked managing 2 mines in different countries. He has had initial challenges in Alaska, but gold is bringing growth. His Yukon crew is rushing to mine the massive airfield claim before the season's water license expires. Everything must be stripped and paid for to mine everything left this year. Parker's crew has mined 48 of his 90 airfield acres, including the Keyhole, Easy Street, and Bear Cut. They are using Slucifer to run pay dirt from the 18-acre payback cut to the 24-acre runway cut, the largest and last cut. They must have 5 acres down to pay the next week before restarting Big Red, so it will wait until all the stripping is done. With only 1 wash plant, the runway cut is all hands on deck until stripped, except for 1 crew member. Tyson Lee drives the 750 excavator through the payback cut, while Parker handles the D11 and Mitch removes runway overburden with the 700. Given mounting barriers, staying ahead is a daily battle. Air from the 700 excavator suddenly smells like coolant, indicating difficulties. A broken radiator leaks coolant into the hot exhaust manifold, disrupting their plans. Needing replacement components quickly, Mitch calls Taylor. Tyson then departs his 750, leaving him with 480, reducing his ability to transfer Slucifer money. With just 480 digging paid, they risk running out of pay dirt and having nothing to process. Reducing the feed rate reduces gold flow, but it's better than shutting down the plant. With Slucifer decreased and Big Red off, mining all 90 acres is less likely. Crews are removing heavy dirt from the runway cut.
Tyson, do you have a copy? Tyson? Hey, there's a huge build-up in the pre-wash. I don't know what to do.
I'll get it.
They're loading it out without a place to transport it since it's late in the year to open 20 feet of dirt. Parker's crew is racing to clear the 24-acre runway cut to feed Big Red wash plant. Big Red waits on a mountain to wash rocks. If they had pay dirt now, it would work. Tyson is in a tough spot after taking the 750. But opening the ground is crucial to avoid leaving a lot of gold. Tyson is digging for cash to feed Slucifer in the 480, while Mitch's 700 excavator is being repaired. He has reduced Slucifer's feed rate and hopes not to make more changes, but Big Red comes first. However, Taylor arrives with wonderful news. The 700 radiator has been changed and is ready. This should restore their momentum. This machine has transported tons of soil and paying dirt to the wash facility. Tyson can feed Slucifer 220 yards per hour with the 750 back in service. They can process more pay dirt and extract more gold. The 750's return is a big relief, allowing normal operations. Parker's sole wash facility is back online, promising a better season finale. Mitch Blaschke is under pressure to move pay dirt at Parker Schnabel's Indian River claim before the season expires. Both Big Red and Slucifer wash plants operate 24/7, making feeding them essential. Mitch moved Evan, a young passionate rock truck driver, to loader operator to boost output. However, a big issue abruptly halts their progress. Evan finds many large pebbles in the sluice runs, forcing Big Red to stop. Big Red is down, so no gold being processed or money is coming in. But expenses are rising. Big Red must be fixed and working again when needed. Mitch and Tyson quickly discover a blown-out screen deck portion. Huge rocks and sluice runs indicate a large hole in the screen, which filters larger pebbles from finer pay dirt. Huge pebbles clog the opening runs when the screen breaks. Interrupting water flow prevents the guns from catching gold and washes away the sluice box end. The team tackles the tricky screen repair.
The other end of that goes right into the generator head, and it's cooked right off. I mean, you know, this is the engine. This is what powers.
Mitch says the material they're processing is quite sharp and aggressive. This caustic substance slowly erodes tiny screens, cutting them. The damaged screen is removed and replaced with a new one, fastened in place. The screen deck connection is crucial to gold mining. Screens separate larger boulders from finer pay dirt, allowing gold-rich material to be collected. Breaking screens lets big rocks fall through and clog sluice channels. This clog prevents the water from flowing properly, preventing the riffles from catching the gold, which washes out of the sluice box and is lost. Big Red needs to fix the screen to keep processing pay dirt efficiently. Mitch, Tyson, and the crew quickly fix the damage, emphasizing the screen deck's value. With the new screen, the crew restarts Big Red. The effective repair brings relief and satisfaction. Evan's rapid diagnosis saves the squad a lot of gold, proving his value. Over $90,000 is worth 51.6 ounces of runway cut gold. Running Big Red for a week might net $500,000 in gold. Slucifer has been efficient, digesting the chopped dirt and generating 336.05 ounces of gold, worth over $600,000. Parker's team is optimistic because both plants are running well. They appreciate being at the end of their huge mining activity and the effort required to move the wash plants. The crew wants to maximize the season and leave no gold behind as they reach the finish. Parker Schnabel's mining operation is running, but new challenges are straining the workers. Mitch Blaschke is carefully processing a lot of pay dirt from Parker's Indian River claim before the season ends. Mitch has shifted Evan, a young, energetic crew member, from rock truck to loader to help meet demand at Big Red and Slucifer wash plants, which are open 24/7. Despite these achievements, Parker adds a major task. Parker intends to establish a new operation in Alaska's Yukon in 3 weeks, with both wash plants working well in the bear cut and delivering over 1,800 ounces of gold.
Big moment! This is what we've been waiting for and working on all day, buddy. Let's do it!
The season's success depends on both plants working, as over half the area cleared, covering 4 million square feet. Mitch Blaschke must free up more land, including the Panama Canal Cut, a 10-acre cut. Mitch must dig up the only road connecting the camp to the current cutting and build a new road while maintaining critical access to the mine site after hitting frozen pieces and ice on the lone road to the camp. As they start this project, they discover the earth is frozen, aggravating the issue. Tyson informs Mitch that too many projects have left them without soil for the night shift. Parker's frequent plan modifications cause tension, but Mitch's crew is determined to finish the last 350 feet of the new road. They connect the new road just in time, allowing cars to dump pay dirt. With the new road, they can pile dirt and run wash machines. Parker's staff is under pressure to maximize gold production with limited time and resources. Machinery runs at maximum capacity as trucks load coarse tailings. Parker's all-or-nothing decisions push the crew. In 12 hours, they finish the road, enabling vital wash plant access. Mitch examines Parker's bold strategy, knowing that gold miners cannot hold gold underground. Justin and Tyson contend with frozen pay dirt impeding gold recovery in the machine. Cold spring weather makes the permafrost refuse to thaw. The frozen substance makes stripping and hauling difficult, despite their best efforts. Mitch agrees to temporarily shut down the plant to melt and strip after discussing the issue. Though risky, they believe it's necessary to maximize gold recovery over time. By freeing up labor and resources, they aim to strip more efficiently when the weather improves. The workforce prepares to melt and strip as the facility closes, knowing that their success depends on their ability to respond to challenges. They take the risk with drive and teamwork, knowing it will pay off. Parker's decision to cease operations on Big Red because of financial worries.
There you go. That's dead nuts. I just need a rock. Yukon hammer.
Is a deviation from their usual 24/7 running plan once sluicing begins. Parker takes this smart risk due to rising fuel costs and the need to boost income. Parker hopes postponing the wash plant will allow his staff to strip more land and expose it to the sun to thaw. The success of this strategy depends on good weather, which Parker is willing to risk. Nona Lovelace, the office manager turned heavy equipment operator, uses the 73-ton D10 dozer to cut through the deep permafrost. The frozen ground makes mining difficult, but Nona's passion drives her to go. Nona thinks mining is fun since you can overcome obstacles like permafrost. Due of permafrost's harshness, the D10 dozer's blade peels up, stopping progress.
Goal. Troy Taylor, the owner of the land where Rick Ness is looking for 2,000 ounces of gold, gives him a chance by offering to buy the land with a 150-ounce down payment. Ness now has the most gold he has ever won. Kyle Lawson, a rookie, is in charge of a bold plan that makes an amazing 315 ounces every week. Rick is driven to succeed, so he makes a promise to own land even though there are problems. Mine manager Rick Ness staked his young career on a 190-foot deep-cut test drilling, which increased the chance of a $5 million gold hit. Rick is 800 ounces short of his goal weight of 2,000 ounces because the results haven't lived up to his hopes. Rick is worried about his survival as winter comes and the high-grade pay layer stays out of reach. He isn't just enjoying digging a big hole. No, Rick knows he needs to find an answer and thinks about the best way to reach his season's goal. Troy Taylor, the owner of the Duncan Creek house that Rick is said to be renting, calls him out of the blue. Troy makes Rick an offer to buy the land and puts down 150 ounces, which is equal to $250,000, $100. Rick is shocked by the offer, but he says he'll think about it and get back to you right away. Rick is having a hard time making a profit after spending a lot of money on new tools, so this offer comes at a bad time. Rick feels the rush and thinks of new ways to get more done and keep things going forward. He tells his team about a bold plan. He wants to run both wash stations at the same time. Rick talks to Kyle Lawson, who used to work as an iron worker in Yukon, and asks him to run a single workshop by himself so that this plan can work. Kyle takes on the job of running Rocky, the wash plant, even though he doesn't know much about mining. Because he is always short-staffed, Rick counts on Kyle to bring in the extra 150 ounces needed for the down payment. Since Rocky is back at work, Kyle is in charge of running the wash plant and filling the dirt by himself. He is in charge of the process and makes sure that the ashes don't get in the way of the flow. Even though it's hard, Kyle is able to process the gold and reports an amazing 315 ounces of output for the week, with 219.8 ounces coming from Monster Red and 95 ounces from Rocky. Rick is so excited about his huge gold find that he goes to talk to the homeowner, Troy Taylor, about buying the land. Rick is sure of his choice, so he agrees to buy the land and says that the down payment can't be returned. Rick says he is sure he will be able to pay back the loan before the end of the season, and the deal says that the fee plan will continue into the next season. As Rick gets closer to his goal of having his own land, he thinks about the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Rick is amazed by Monster Red's digging skills. When Monster Red makes a comeback, Rick Ness sets a 2,000-ounce goal for him. A new hopper feeder gets around problems and boosts output to more than 300 yards per hour. As winter gets closer, things get more urgent, and Rick's determination to finish his gold mine project on time stands out. Rick Ness, the mine boss, has to do the hard work of bringing Monster Red back to life in order to make his 2,000-ounce goal. Within 48 hours, his goal is to develop and improve the plant so that it works as efficiently as possible. A big LRS feeder with twice as much capacity as the old model is part of the plan, along with a simplified design that doesn't have any extra lines. Installing it is hard, especially when a heavy chute makes the toe lift work less well. The group changes the wire to stop more damage. The updated hopper feeder in Monster Red makes it possible for it to do more while keeping the focus on speed and ease of use. Rick thinks that running the plant at over 300 yards per hour will make it much more productive. The team brings Monster Red back to life after a scary moment with a broken part and sets it up to look at Rally Valley's rich pay dirt. It's becoming more and more important to get Monster Red up and running as winter approaches. Rick is determined to be successful in his gold mining project, as shown by his desire to end the season on a high note. Rick is looking forward to the arrival of the new hopper feeder and the chance to make money from Rally Valley's deep-cut pay dirt, especially now that Monster Red is ready for fight. The major turning point in Rick's journey to financial success and the completion of his 2,000-ounce goal was the repair of the wash plant. The leaves changing colors are a steady reminder that time is running out to get things done, so the rush is on. The biggest gold weights of Season 12 come from Parker using Lucifer's wash plant at Scribner Creek to its fullest, which yields 337.45 ounces. Rick's team can now clean up 3 ounces per hour. Parker's team at Big Red is having a great week because 596.6 ounces are worth more than $1 million. The story gives a short summary of the problems and successes that come with gold digging. The team meets at Scribner Creek for the gold weigh-in. They greet each other and talk about what they have planned for the week. Parker talks about the costs of the process. He says that he had to pay $350,000 to get rid of his deepest dirt, which added up to $1.4 million. Lucifer, his wash plant, needs to produce more than 180 ounces to break even, which will be hard to do since it only produced 84 ounces last week. When things went wrong, the team made changes that improved the wash plant's performance and cut down on the amount of water it used. Torsten gets the 750 digger ready for Duncan Creek's rough ground by carefully moving the movable undercarriage. Things are getting more exciting as the gold show gets closer. Since Mitch fixed the plant, he quickly shows off the result, which is a big step forward. The cleanup from the 750 makes an amazing 337.45 ounces, which is more than expected and brings in more than $600,000. Now, Rick's business runs for less than 2 weeks with only 4 employees and no dedicated mechanic, which is very different from last year's average of just over 70 ounces per week. The difficulties bring out the team's ability to change and keep going. The story then moves on to Rick's cleanup, where he gets 3 times as much gold as before, up from 1 ounce per hour. The crew is happy about the success and points out the big steps forward that have been made. As the team finishes up and thanks each other for their work, the friendship stays strong. The gold keeps coming out. Mitch's hard work pays off, and Chris does a nice job that adds to the overall success. The scene moves to Parker's team at Big Red, where everyone is happy about their accomplishments. More than $4 million has been put into Mud Mountain to get to its rich prizes, which is making people more excited. Big Red has never had a better week than this one, with a gold reveal that adds up to 596.6 ounces worth over $1 million. There are many problems, successes, and trades in the story, which gives a full picture of the hard world of gold mine. Scenes flow smoothly into the next, showing the highs and lows of the business before a successful gold weigh-in that makes money. The scene moves to Parker's team at Big Red, where everyone is happy about their accomplishments. More than $4 million has been put into Mud Mountain to get to its rich prizes, which is making people more excited. Big Red has never had a better week than this one, with a gold reveal that adds up to 596.6 ounces, worth over $1 million. There are many problems, successes, and trades in the story, which gives a full picture of the hard world of gold mine. Scenes flow smoothly into the next, showing the highs and lows of the business before a successful gold weigh-in that makes money. Rick Ness only needs 300 more gold ounces to reach his season goal. However, as winter comes, Rick needs to get another 550 ounces to reach his 2,000-ounce goal. The group turns their attention to Monster Red and buys a strong pump to deal with the water problems in cold weather. The story shows how determined, creative, and persistent they were in the unpredictable world of gold digging. The snow on the steep land above Keno in late September is a sign that winter has come early. The once bustling wash plant, which is an important part of getting gold out of the ground, is now dormant under its winter coat, representing the problems caused by the changing environment. Rick takes a moment to think about the big chances he took when he started digging gold by himself. This shows how determined he has been over the years. In his third season away from the Kundik, Rick is almost at Keno's big gold find. He put down a big deposit to make sure that his claims are taken care of. But there is still a big problem to solve. He needs another 550 ounces to hit his lofty 2,000-ounce goal. The mining season is almost over. The story then moves on easily to the mine site, where Rick is solving a puzzle about water. Last week, Rocky, his second wash plant, helped him get the biggest gold weigh-in ever. Still, the coming frost is always a worry, and work has to be done all the time to keep the water flowing. The fact that Rocky has decided to shut down shows a shift in strategy, with more focus on Monster Red and a stronger push to reach the season's gold goal. Rick is having a hard time with the water problem while it is snowing outside, which shows how the process is always affected by weather below freezing. He is honest about the problems they've had and stresses how important it is to have a pump to stop the groundwater from coming in all the time. Even though they face problems and setbacks, the group stays motivated to find the money that is hidden beneath the waves. Rick and the rest of the team face the water problem head-on to find a solution. The discovery of a strong 10-inch pump is a turning point, but it comes at a high cost that shows the unexpected costs that come with the gold rush. As things stand, they perfectly show the spirit of teamwork and determination that is needed to overcome unexpected problems in the never-ending search for gold wealth. As the strong pump is used to show that it can move a lot of water, the story keeps going in a clever way. The combined efforts of the team to get the pump going show the dedication and teamwork needed to deal with the unpredictable nature of gold mine. Even though there are problems, costs that weren't expected, and ongoing problems with the weather, Rick is still set about the gold output. The results that could be seen, the gold that was recovered, and the hope for future success show how determined and clever Rick and his team were in figuring out how the unpredictable gold mining business worked. As our look into the fascinating world of Gold Rush and Rick Ness's gold mine tries comes to a close, we have seen how luck can change quickly in harsh terrain and as the seasons change all the time. Rick's journey has been an emotional roller coaster of highs and lows, persistence, and finally success, from managing falls in the cut to dealing with early winter storms. The rough conditions of the mining season have shown off the pristine beauty of Alaska's wildness and the strong will of the people who go there in search of money. Rick's changes to his plans and the thrill of finding gold at the last minute have shown how unpredictable gold mining can be. We are shocked by the problems that were solved and the wealth that were found as we say goodbye to the drama, thrill, and excitement that make up Rick Ness's search for gold. In these thrilling and difficult episodes, the superheroic and warrior-like qualities of Tony
2017 left him obviously upset, and the fact that he was emotionally vulnerable in that way does not make mining any different. In the moment that Parker disclosed that he had declared bankruptcy, he accepted defeat, so revealing a level of betrayal that extended beyond monetary considerations.
Walk away.
Yeah, walk away.
I'm gonna go get a thermos.
Is there some gold here?
Yeah, we're gonna waste.
The stark fact that gold mining is unpredictable, hazardous, and may even be downright unpleasant is the subject of this narrative. The devastating disappointment that comes when you pour all you have, time, money, and sweat, into the land and the earth decides to keep its treasures buried is there. The joy of a good haul and the exhilaration of seeing numbers go up are only two examples of the emotions that can be experienced. In his time working in the mining sector, Gold miner Parker Schnabel has seen a great deal of failure and difficulty in terms of his finances. In the gold mining industry, the highs are powerful, but the lows cause you to rethink everything, from the decisions you make in business to the relationships you have. Although fame can magnify achievement, it also has the potential to make defeat. In the year 2017 left him obviously upset, and the fact that he was emotionally vulnerable in that way does not make mining any different. In the moment that Parker disclosed that he had declared bankruptcy, he accepted to subscribe and turn notifications on.
In the glittering world of gold mining, where fortunes are dug from the heart of the earth, one name stands out: Rick Ness. Known for his uncanny ability to strike gold, Rick has etched his legacy in the Klondike's history. But hold on. This time, Rick's journey takes an unexpected turn. He faces a pivotal moment that could reshape his mining future. What life-altering decision has Rick made, and how will it steer the course of his gold-hunting saga? There's more. Brace yourselves for the arrival of an inspiring figure, ready to lend a helping hand in Rick's most challenging hour. Who is this mystery person, and how will they impact Rick's quest for gold? Join us to delve into a mining adventure like never before that will lead to Rick's biggest gold haul ever. Success isn't just about luck, it's about rolling up your sleeves and putting in the hard work. That's something that the indomitable Rick Ness believes in. Now, he finds himself facing a daunting challenge, a gold production goal that seems to be slipping through his fingers. Despite the hefty investments in top-tier equipment, Rick is dealing with machinery issues. Different hurdles are emerging, putting a wrench in the gears of progress, but the twists and turns in this mining saga don't end there. On top of all that, Rick is at a crossroads, facing a crucial decision about the ownership of the land. But the heart of the challenge lies in the earth itself. The act of digging and extracting precious gold from the depths becomes a battle against time and nature. It's a struggle that Rick faces head-on, with determination etched on his face. In the vast expanse of the mining frontier, Rick Ness is facing a pivotal moment in his gold-hunting journey. Having staked his entire season on a daring move, a deep cut that promised a potential $5 million in gold, the reality is not living up to the glittering dream. The 190-foot deep cut, the bold gamble that could lead to a substantial payday, is yet to yield the expected results. The goal is 2,000 ounces of gold, but this weight of the goal hangs heavy on Ness's shoulders, not just for the sake of his crew, but for his own survival in the unforgiving world of gold mining, a world into which Rick has poured his heart, soul, and a considerable amount of resources, expecting a gold rush that would make headlines. However, the reality is a bit different. The very ground he walks on holds the key to his mining empire's destiny. However, the landowner has different plans for Rick. Troy Taylor, who is the owner of Duncan Creek, the claim on which Rick is working under the lease, pays an unexpected visit to Rick, who is already under stress for not meeting the gold production goal. Cutting right to the chase, Rick questions the purpose behind Taylor's unanticipated visit, and Taylor, without beating around the bush, dives straight into the heart of the matter. His revelation hangs in the air, laden with potential implications. He wants to sell the Duncan Creek. Rick is now confronted with a significant personal decision. The prospect of owning his own ground looms large, and the gravity of this choice could reshape the entire trajectory of his mining journey. Imagine the dilemma. On one side, the security of owning the land beneath which potential fortunes lie, and on the other, the challenge of meeting the production goals with the clock ticking. It's a decision that could either propel Rick into a new era of mining success or add another layer of complexity to his already intricate venture. But that's not the interesting part. Taylor, with a matter-of-fact demeanor, reveals the terms. $250,000 as a down payment, equivalent to 150 ounces of gold. Now that's how you make a deal with the gold diggers. Surprised by the unexpected proposition, Rick finds himself deep in thought. The idea of owning the very land he's been working on is both appealing and overwhelming. Unsure about taking such a significant step, Rick acknowledges that he is not sure if he can take such a massive step at this already challenging moment. The financial commitment attached to this decision plays on his mind, creating a whirlwind of considerations. As the discussion unfolds, Rick wrestles with the weight of this unforeseen opportunity. The offer of $250,000 or 150 ounces of gold is undeniably substantial. Troy Taylor, after presenting the terms, leaves Rick to contemplate the magnitude of the decision. The gravity of the situation hangs in the air, and Rick is left to grapple with the potential impact on his gold mining journey. The allure of ownership clashes with the daunting prospect of financial responsibility, setting the stage for a pivotal moment in Rick Ness's mining saga. How will the mind boss navigate this unexpected twist in the tale? Will he seize the opportunity, or will the weight of the decision prove too much? The stakes are high, the pressure is on, and the future of Duncan Creek claims hangs in the balance, but it's the mind boss we're talking about. And to make the decision, he has to tackle the other obstacles first. Every miner knows that a glitch in the machinery can translate to lost time and, more importantly, lost gold. Despite heavy investments and state-of-the-art machinery worth millions, the results are not quite hitting the mark. It's a tough spot to be in, especially when your aspirations are as grand as Rick's. The machinery, boasting cutting-edge technology, stands as a testament to Rick's commitment. But, as every seasoned miner knows, the gold beneath the ground doesn't always give in easily. Rick is stuck dealing with a big problem, and he can't tackle it solo. He's in need of help, but the question is, who can he turn to? The first person who crosses Rick's mind in this crucial moment is none other than his reliable dad. With winter approaching, he calls his father for assistance, hoping to bring in the energy needed to finish the season strong. Rick's dad shows up and is pretty amazed by the whole mining setup. He's all in to help out however he can. The two of them now tackle the problem together, dealing with the challenges of mining and figuring out a way forward. The first problem he deals with is the wash plant. With Monster Red running on a tight crew, Rick faces a tough time finding more workers. His dad jumps in to lend a hand and keep things going smoothly. Seeing the mining operations scale, Rick's dad figures he can help out. Without any hesitation, he gets down to work, doing everything needed to keep Monster Red up and running. At Duncan Creek, Rick encounters a hurdle with his 700 excavator. A cracked hydraulic line threatens to slow down the crucial task of clearing tailings. It's a setback that demands immediate attention. Rick, with a determined look on his face, asks his dad to help there too. Rick's dad, not a stranger to hard work, steps into the role of a makeshift mechanic. With tools in hand, they inspect the excavator, and the problem becomes clear: a cracked hydraulic line. It's a hands-on challenge, but Rick's dad isn't one to back down. They work together, making the welding process seem like a puzzle they are determined to solve. After a series of intense efforts, welding, and a bit of elbow grease, the hydraulic issue is fixed. The 700 excavator roars back to life, ready to dig into the tailings and keep the gold production on track. It's a testament to the resilience of the team and their ability to handle unexpected setbacks. With the excavator back in action, the crew dives back into their work, ensuring that every bucket of pay dirt contributes to their season's ambitious gold goal. Whether it's fixing up equipment or helping out in the wash plant, Rick's dad becomes a key part of the team. His experience and hands-on approach bring a new burst of energy, making sure every part of the mining process works like a well-oiled machine. The teamwork between father and son turns challenges into victories. Together, they tackle the ups and downs of mining life, using their combined knowledge to handle whatever comes their way. As Monster Red chews through the pay dirt, it's not just the machines doing the heavy lifting. It's the power of a united team working towards those big gold goals. Despite the challenges, including equipment breakdowns and a flooded cut, the team is determined to reach the season's gold target of 2,000 ounces. The camaraderie between Rick and his dad becomes evident as they tackle repairs together. From fixing machinery issues to maintaining equipment, it's a hands-on collaboration that highlights the importance of a reliable support system. Rick's dad, a testament to the saying, "Actions speak louder than words," embodies the spirit of a true partner in this challenging gold mining journey. Even with the valuable assistance from his dad, Rick finds himself caught in a web of challenges that extend beyond the immediate repairs. In the pursuit of the elusive gold goal and land ownership, Rick must not only contend with mechanical hurdles,